Hello, I'm Doug Works, the Executive Director of the Board Retailers Association. We are a nonprofit that has been helping board specialty, outdoor specialty, lifestyle specialty retailers to survive and thrive for the last 20 years. We do this in a lot of different ways. One way is to introduce you to supporting vendor partners that provide relevant and helpful services. Today, I'm joined by Natalie Gowen. Natalie is the founder and creative director of Moxie Tonic. She's a certified story brand guide marketing expert. She's worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs and business owners to help them clarify their messages and get their businesses growing. In addition to 15 years in web design and development, Natalie has a background in print journalism, email marketing, event promotion, and fundraising development. All of that's to say she knows how to tell a good story and how to sell it to people. Natalie is fueled by her belief that everyone deserves to make a living doing what they love. She takes that passion directly into her work with brick and mortar shops. She knows consumers are hungry to connect with the people and values behind the products and services that they buy. Welcome, Natalie.
Oh, wow, Doug, thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you so much for inviting us to be part of the Board Retailer Association, family of vendor partners. We're just really passionate about serving local brick and mortar shops. And I'm really excited about the information that we have to share today. So thanks again for the invitation.
You're welcome, as am I.
Yeah. So we're really excited to share this information with you. Really, the focus of today is to present information on how you, as a local shop, can keep your marketing engine running even when everything else may feel like it's going haywire. We know a couple of things that I'll get to that can stand in your way of being able to really keep that engine moving forward. And we really want to help you streamline it, make it affordable, and still get the results that you're looking for. The good news is that we know that this industry is growing. It's growing incrementally, but that growth is really driven. Specialty shop local growth is really being driven by consumers' drive to connect their values and their spending habits together and be able to support local business, have local resources for the sports and the hobbies that they enjoy. Doug, would you say that that is something that you're seeing for your members?
Absolutely. I mean, we have all different types of retailers, from skate shops to snowboard shops to stand-up paddle shops, wakeboard shops, outdoor adventure shops, bikini shops, all different types of specialty retailers. And yeah, there's a story to be told for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if we want to have a really cold and personal experience, there are 1,000 big box stores that we can go to. But consumers are burned out on that and burned out on a lack of customer service. And so that's really where we're seeing the uptick in local specialty shops really rise. So with that, though, we know there comes a lot of obstacles in getting the word out about your shop and your location. I mean, when you look at this list, Doug, what stands out to you?
Well, gosh, I mean, as a former skate shop, skateboard park owner, I've definitely worn all the hats and had zero budget and looked around and realized that there were only a few people managing this massive operation, and it was a lot. I always, as a retailer, I always felt like I was just trying to go down that street, just if there was potholes, I was just kind of running right over them. If it was going a little slower in certain cases, it's just dealing with it. If there was a car on fire next to me, I'd probably put the fire out, but just kind of keep going and stay in my lane and that type of thing. And so all of the above, really, especially easy for our smaller retailers, shops that only have one or two locations in a lot of cases, to really, make things happen. They just feel overloaded. If it's not in their lane, it's really easy for them to kind of, just table it, to say, okay, I'll deal with that later, especially as it relates to any kind of consulting or retail technology, or, somebody that wants to help them do something that they feel like they're already doing themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, that information overload is one that we hear all the time too, as we talk with our clients, of just there's so much on the marketing side. You mentioned a lot of there's so much for you guys on the retail side, and then you add on to it the retail, or excuse me, the marketing side. And now here's a whole nother tech stack to learn and adopt. And a lot of marketing advice that's out there for retailers is really geared towards larger companies who have multiple locations and multiple in-house people to handle this, and all of the marketing that goes into promoting the store or the different locations. And one of the things that I wanted to be really cognizant of when preparing for what I want to share today is that we stay really, really focused on, like, these are the key things that if you keep running, you can keep running. It would be affordable to outsource if you needed to, but all of the advice that I'm going to share next is really going to be focused on smaller shops and smaller teams, so that you can actually do the things that we're going to recommend.
Awesome.
Yeah. So with that, I want to move into what we see as the key drivers of local marketing for the specialty shops. And it's these three drivers. It's basically showing up where your customer base is. This list probably, it doesn't surprise anybody, but maybe the list is surprising in the fact that it's pretty simple. It's Google. It's social media, because that's where people are looking for your products and services. And then it's translating what they've seen online into the communication you have with them in store and afterwards. So that's really the plan on where we're going. Is a few key tips and tricks on how to master these in a way that you can really keep these engines running no matter what else is going on in the store. Before I go too much further, I do want to dig in a little bit in the fact that there's an entire marketing team behind me as I share this information. It comes with experience of folks who are really certified and experts in local search marketing, in online sales, in messaging, and in content and design. And so any of these tips that I'm going to share, I went back to my team. I'm like, hey, what's working with your clients right now? And all of this information is really, really current. And it's also really driven and fueled by our passion. We just happen to be a team that's super active and into the outdoors. These are my personal photos, but some of them are my team members. We have a ski day for team members where we take off and go skiing, but we use your products and services, and we rely on our local shop here in Colorado Springs to really help us be able to do the things that we want to do. But let's dive in without any more wait. Google. This is the first engine that, if you keep going strong, is going to fuel those local searches. I mean, Doug, we were talking earlier and you mentioned something really interesting about the product and the local search. Can you jump into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the retailer wants to be able to be the local source for anybody looking for any gear, really. I mean, if you think about a snowboard shop, for example, you can have the local snowboarder is looking for a new pair of boots or bindings or snowboard or any of that stuff, and they start to do an online search for it. Well, it's really not super helpful to just have the manufacturer pop up and kind of drive them to order online from the manufacturer and wait however long it takes to get it. The ideal situation obviously would be for those products that that particular local snowboard shop would actually have, be able to pop up on that same, first, second, third, fourth option. That way somebody will actually see it, because if it's on page 3 or page 5 or page 79, it's not going to translate into a sale for that retail shop. But if it's higher up on the SEO, if it's higher up on the search, then it's going to be a situation where they have an opportunity to sell to their local customer, that and then really push, like that local customer could wait a day or 3 days or 5 days or a week or so to get that product and not even know exactly what they're going to get. Or they can realize that that shop has it in stock and that shop's 8 miles down the road. I can actually go and touch it and feel it and experience it and know that I have the right thing and get it the same day. And that goes a long way.
Oh, it's huge. In fact, I have a personal experience that aligns with that. My husband had ordered a new ski rack for a new car and didn't even realize that he was ordering from a local shop. And they called and they said, "Hey, are you sure you want us to ship this? We're literally 5 miles down the road from you." And what that did was that brought me in shop. And now I know that I have a local resource for my brand new Bronco when I want to put that rooftop tent on it, that I wouldn't have even known otherwise. And so it's coming up in those local searches that are just so valuable. And that's exactly what I wanted to share today. When it comes to Google, it can feel very overwhelming, but there's really 3 main things on Google you need to worry about. One, it's updating your website and and making sure it's optimized for search engines to find those local results. Now, I'm going to share some of the specific things to do. And if you're furiously taking notes, don't worry. We've got a resource guide that we'll share with exact steps on how to do it. Right now, I'm going to tell you the what, and in the follow-up, we'll tell you the how. But the key element is to make sure that you have a location page on your site dedicated to the products and services you sell that is very targeted to your location. That's really key on the website. For making sure that Google is able to start placing you, you need to be in current directories with your name, address, and phone number. And all of that needs to be really current. If you ever move locations or anything like that, then it all has to be updated in the directories. There's like 30 of them that are really that you can update, but there's only 5 that really matter. And it's Google Maps, Apple Maps, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. This is the only reason why I think you should have a LinkedIn profile, is to just get your name, address, and phone number out there. And then when it comes to updating your website, it's all about just letting Google know somebody's at home on that site. The lights are on and there's a human behind it. So updating with pictures, blog posts, new, posts about new arrivals in the shop, new services that you're offering, all of those, when you tag those with your location, helps you pop up. So when, as Doug was saying, that snowboarder in Boise wants some Burton, they know where to find it because you're coming up in those top results.
Absolutely.
The other place I mentioned, there were 3 things: websites and SEO, and then the third place is the Google business profile. This is where that local 3-pack becomes really important. If you want your shop, or service near me to come up in one of those first 3 results, focusing on these elements right here checks off this box right here, focusing on driving local 3-pack search results by keeping your website up to date with lots of location information. The second thing, and I know this is no shocker to anybody who runs a shop, getting those Google reviews. That is so key. It's playing in Google Sandbox. And we all know to go attack those negative reviews as quickly as possible. And by attack, I mean just get after it in a friendly way that opens up an opportunity for you to resolve the issue, and maybe they'll take it down. We all know to go respond to those. But did you know it's equally as important to respond to the positive reviews as well. I don't know how general knowledge that is. Doug, is that a new one for you?
It's one of those things, and a lot of times, for example, you read a book, and at the end of that book, like, oh, that made a lot of sense. I didn't think about it that way. You already knew the information in a lot of cases, especially some of these self-help books and everything. And there's a ton of them. That could be a whole another topic there. But knowing the topic and really implementing it are two different things. So everyone realizes I need more reviews, but how do you do that? You encourage people. Hey, if you're pleased, could you go ahead and make a review? You could even have a link to Yelp or something along those lines on your email, your targeted email that you send out to your list. And when you're gathering email lists, don't ask your customer, hey, would you like to be part of our email list? Say, would you like to be part of our VIP list and be in the know on upcoming events and special deals and those types of things that make them feel special. Keep the special and specialty.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And yeah, a lot of it is a reminder of like, these are the core things that I know I need to be doing. And they're simple. And the key is in the consistency. And the consistency is not simple, but we're trying to simplify it down in a way so that the task list is not as long. But getting those reviews, soliciting them through email or text messages, things like
Right.
that. Absolutely appropriate to drive as many of
you can also incentivize some of your customers to do reviews. If somebody seems really passionate about your shop, they can do a Yelp review and all that stuff online. But what's even more impactful? Capturing a video of them saying a few nice things about your shop and your shop staff. A minute or less, capture it. Hey, we love our shop. We absolutely feel like it's the best, but don't take our word for it. See what Natalie has to say, and then turn the camera and say, Natalie, what do you have to say? And you'll say something, a few sentences about how pleased you were with your customer experiences. Then you repost that and go from there.
Oh my gosh, there's so much life in a post like that. I'm going to bring this one up as an example when we switch to social media here in a second, because those kinds of customer testimonials are worth their weight in gold. If this says a picture is worth 1,000 words, I think a video is worth 1,000,000. And just because of the life that it has. And those are great things that you can use to promote on your social media, also to update your Google business profile with some pictures and some videos and things like that. Again, it's playing in Google Sandbox, it's making them super happy. And that is the #1 way to grow in your rankings and your search results for local searches.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, social media, the monster that is never not hungry. You can feed social media all day long, but you have more important things to be doing than posting on social media. So what I want to share with you here is a couple tips and tricks that we found that gets the most leverage out of your posts. Yeah, Doug, you want to talk a little bit about what you see with video?
Yeah, I mean, I follow every single skate, surf, snow, stand-up paddle, wakeboard, outdoor adventure, gear shop, all of these shops, and many of them are doing it really well. But there are quite a few that, as I'm looking at their feed, it just feels like an old CCS catalog. There's just images of products, and don't get me wrong, having products on there, announcing that you have some recent arrivals, especially if they're the newest things that your customers are kind of salivating over, that's great. But think about the impact of a photo versus a video. Your photo is a still stagnant image. It will be looked at and then discarded. You might not get a like, you might not even get a view, but if you have engagement, that goes a long way. So using that video to capture the unboxing, opening up the NHS box and pulling out the independent trucks and the Santa Cruz boards and all of that stuff, and doing these different things that show the recent arrivals, not only coming into the store, but also exiting the store. When people buy things, we talked a little bit about those reviews when we were talking about the Google and SEO and that type of thing. Get that video review, get that customer that just bought a new surfboard to say a few things about how pleased they are and how stoked they are to be able to use this, and capture that and post that on your feed and your stories. That goes a long way.
Wow. Yeah, video can just be repurposed over and over again. And then the other really great thing about video is that it takes time for people to watch it, which means you're feeding the algorithm, which means you're making Facebook, Instagram, TikTok very happy. Again, it's all about appeasing the algorithm. And if you're, if it's just one picture, well, that's just a quick swipe. Whereas the video and the playtime, now you've helped keep people staying in the app. And so those platforms are going to have your post show up there, because that's probably the biggest complaint we hear from our clients is like, we're doing this, we've been doing this posting, but we don't have any engagement. And we find out that like nobody's seeing our posts. Why am I even bothering with it?
Right.
And for us, the answer is it's time to get choosy. Pick a platform that you like. Don't try and be everywhere. Pick one that you like and you get and you understand, and you're going to be a lot more successful at that one. When you get that one down, expand. Or if you're outsourcing it, you've already got an expert that's doing that for you. But it's really important to think about quality of the post over the quantity. If you can create 2 great posts a week, do it. But if you can only create 2 great posts a month, great. Stay consistent with that. And if you're going to keep it in-house, the one thing that we've noticed is so powerful is when instead of just choosing the youngest, cutest person on your team to do it, you choose somebody who has real buy-in to actually taking those videos and those posts. We even appreciate that when it's the person who's just tasked with collecting the imagery for us, is that it's somebody that is actually a part of their job that they're being measured on, and not just like an add-on to like the floor manager or something like that. They have 10,000 other things to do. When are they supposed to capture that?
I completely agree, and making it a perk to the job, making it empowering the staff, that once you show us that you're doing everything else, let's have you do some social media posts and empower them to do that, and not micromanage them, because actually they might be your demographic more than you are. I talked to George Leichtweiss, is the chairman of the board of Board Retailers Association, and the owner of Modern Skate and Surf. He says all the time, I'm no longer my demographic. My demographic's way younger than me, and they get it. So I empower my staff to do those things. And you can create amazing content with your staff, empowering your staff to do those things. And and it's not just like modeling the clothes and things like that. It's also going so far as doing product reviews. And I've seen, David over at Blue Tile, and the guys at Modern, and so many others. Underground Skate Shop, for example, they just did a product review on these America shoes that one of their team riders received, Flow and that kind of thing. And those product reviews get way more engagement than just posting about it, kind of thing. And it doesn't take that long to do it, and you'll start to get into a rhythm to make that kind of remarkable content. There's a marketing expert by the name of Seth Godin, and he says, if you're not remarkable, you're invisible. And that totally resonates. Think about quality over quantity. Think about producing something not super long, 60 seconds or less, something that will allow you to be remarkable so that you're not invisible.
Yeah, it's all about being sticky
Mhm.
in the memory of the people that you are working with. And we have a couple other tips and tricks for that. There's ways to make it really easy by having post templates, even for your videos that, you're able to put the words on there. You can use Canva to edit, and I'll include some other resources in our follow-up guide for that, as well as Doug, your list of like the Billboard top 100, or maybe just top 10 of like your favorite accounts that you have seen that are crushing it. I think that would be a great resource as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
When it comes to social media, there is no shame in copying and repurposing and making it your own. If you see it working, and that thing that you're seeing is working for you, guaranteed that it will work for your customers too. Grab ideas from other feeds that you see. It doesn't have to necessarily be in your industry. Pick up
Mhm.
on trends and make it your own.
Absolutely. I've been really big on that, on our at Board Retailers Association Instagram, for example. We've been reposting a number of just absolutely incredible viral type videos, and go to at Board Retailers Association on Instagram and check those out. I mean, some of them have received over 4 million views, and just thousands and thousands of likes and that type of thing, and that's just from us sharing them. So when you're sharing them and you already have, we have just north of 5,000 followers on Instagram, but your shop, in a lot of cases, you're double, triple, quadruple that, and some of them are absolutely tremendous. Keep up the positive work, but using that platform and reposting some of the viral content will really go a long way in terms of creating that additional engagement and getting new followers.
Oh, absolutely. It's the online equivalent of showing up for a demo day at the park or the ski slopes or something like
Mhm.
that. So yeah. Okay, last but not least, I want to talk about how we take this online experience and translate it to an in-store experience. And I want to be really clear when we jump over to this, that I'm not talking necessarily about your customer experience. That's not my area of expertise. But what is my area of expertise is the brand messaging that your team and your staff is sharing with your clientele. And that's what we're really talking about here when we're talking about communicating clearly. There are some go-to resources that we have that make it really easy for you to create consistent messages being shared by your team that's interacting with your clientele. The framework that we really like is called StoryBrand. It just picks up on 7 elements of marketing messaging that's clear, concise, and compelling. And it keeps your customer in that hero seat, because remember, this is about their journey. This is about your services and your products that you're selling, helping them fulfill on their dream, whether they're a weekend warrior, whether they have huge aspirations, whether they just are getting into that sport or hobby. This is about their journey into it. And StoryBrand is great for helping your team communicate the unique value position that you offer, and why those people, now that they found you online and have come in the store, should keep coming back over and over again. And I'll make sure to share some of those StoryBrand resources with you in our follow-up. The key element is to remember, it's so important, I put it on there twice, your customer is the hero of this story, and they need clear steps to keep moving forward. I mean, one of my childhood favorite movies is The Wizard of Oz. If Glenda the Good Witch had told Dorothy everything she was going to encounter while she was on her way to the Emerald City, she probably never would have left. But
Mhm.
all she said was follow the yellow brick road. How much easier can it get than that? And StoryBrand helps you discover what your yellow brick road is and what the simple calls to action are for that. So it's one of my favorite messaging. It helps with the social media, keeping that on brand so you can really empower your team to make those posts. And then it helps translate to the experience and the messaging people are getting when they come in the shop. So that's what I got as far as content. 3 easy things that you can do to be able to keep your marketing engines running. Focus on the local search with Google through a couple of key elements. Get in front of people with your social media, and then make sure that the messaging when they come in the store is as aligned with the digital message, and that's a really seamless experience for your clientele. In considering what your next steps would be to put some of these in action, we're going to make sure that you have the ability to download this resource guide. So you've got some how-tos. We're going to include some of the like great, if you want to keep it in-house DIY options, and then like what you should expect if you are getting another team to take care of some of these marketing for you, elements for you. And then as part of our association with Board Retailer Association, we offer some marketing assessments. So you can really like pick the brains of marketing experts that are in there marketing local shops on the regular, and help dial in yours. And then most importantly, this is really all about just protecting your time and keeping everything running smoothly so you start to see the results.
Awesome. Natalie, thank you so much. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that free marketing assessment? All of our retail members, that's our regular free retail members, as well as our distinguished $100 a year, completely tax deductible members, receive that benefit or could take advantage of that benefit from Moxie Tonic. So elaborate on that. What areas can they benefit from that assessment? Elaborate on that.
Yeah, well, I think that you mentioned you wanted people to reach out to you, and then you would send them the email for this one specifically. And when you do, then you get to choose from the marketing that is the biggest thorn in your side right now, whether it's local search results, whether it's website design and development, or it could be your social media. And I think we also have branding and messaging on there as well. You get to choose one from there, and then we dive in and give you a full assessment of where you're at, where you can improve, and what we think you should keep on doing to get the results that you want.
Wow. And so how long does that assessment take?
Yeah, so we ask you a few questions prior to our assessment meeting that allows us to dive in. We spend some time as our team gathering that information, and then we do a 30-minute assessment review with you completely for free.
Okay. So it's not going to take much time. It's super valuable. It's really easy, and it's free. I don't see why any of our retail members would not take advantage of that tremendous opportunity. So, wow, thank you so much, Natalie. If you are interested in taking advantage of that opportunity, you can go ahead and send me an email, doug@boardretailers.org, and I'll introduce you to Natalie and her team via email, and you'll be able to take advantage of one of those consulting opportunities. So that's tremendous. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Thank you so much, Doug. It's been a pleasure to be with you this afternoon.
Definitely.